finally got to use the new intro in a proper video, but let's not waste any time. Like the title says, we're going to be focusing on a non-Transformers fan's perspective and opinions on Transformers 1. Now, I'm obviously not talking about myself here since I already reviewed it, and I've been a fan for a while now, so I asked my friend Harlivy Comfort on Twitter for her opinions. She's mostly a DC fan, obviously. So, without any major knowledge of Transformers, I wanted to see how her opinions as a new fan compared to those that have been lifelong fans. I prepared 9 questions regarding the movie itself, and the franchise as a whole. While she was not able to record a voice interview, I will be showing her responses that she sent me on Discord. So, let's get on with it. I will be covering certain spoilers in the questions, so spoiler alert, you have been warned! So, first I asked her if Transformers 1 was her first TF movie in cinemas, and if she was more interested in TF after watching it, to which she replied that it was indeed. While she had seen some other parts of the franchise here and there, this movie was kind of what kickstarted her interest in the franchise. She also enjoyed the theater experience as she got to see everyone's reactions to it. To follow up on this, I was curious about what other TF media she had interacted with, and if so, how did they compare to TF1? She goes on to say that she hadn't really watched a full TF movie besides Bumblebee, because of Haley Steinfeld, which she enjoyed, as well as Rise of the Beasts later down the line, which she liked as well, but just not as much. She also added that TF1 was by far her favorite TF movie, and that she hasn't really watched anything besides those 3. Now, a shorter question. I was really curious to see what her favorite character and scenes were in the movie. TF fans usually latch onto a glob shadow that sticks with them for the rest of their lives, and even if they're just a background characters, they love them. So I really wanted a new fan's perspective on this, and she replies that her favorite character of the whole movie was Bumblebee / Badassatron, because of how funny he was. This was really interesting because in a lot of Twitter spaces, B is what usually gets the most criticism in the movie. Like, people don't hate him, but TF fans really kind of thought that he was maybe a little bit too comedic. So that's a nice little bit of contrast of opinion between newer fans and established TF fans. She, however, does reply that her favorite scene was the creation of Megatron and Optimus in the final battle, which is a common sentiment within TF spaces. Now, I'm sure some of you may have seen some tweets here and there saying that since TF1 is not doing that great in the box office, that they should bring back Michael Bay to the franchise. Even though he never left, he's still a producer and everything, but people ignore that. So, people think that that's what the fans want. So, I asked this exact same thing to Harlivy. If after watching TF1, would she be more interested in a theoretical TF2 or a Bayverse comeback? She goes on to say that she would absolutely prefer a TF2 as a new fan, but that she does acknowledge that Bay had a huge cultural impact when it comes to how people think of Transformers. However, the Bayverse had already kind of been on a decline by the later stages, so trying to suddenly continue it probably wouldn't be a critical or financial success either. So, it's best to just move on from that universe and focus on newer things like the Nightverse or TF1's continuity. This was a really interesting response, since this is not too different from what DC fans experience when it comes to bring back the Snyderverse or people that prefer the new approach with the DCU. So, really interesting response. Moving on to shorter, more general questions, I was curious if after watching the movie, if she was interested in collecting any TF toys, since that's like the core of the franchise, at least in a way. She's interested in getting some, but likely won't have a huge collection like some of us do. I then asked her if TF1 didn't get a sequel, would she be disappointed? Since, as of right now, there is no real guarantee that this movie will get a sequel. She expresses that she would be, but that by itself, the movie is still great as a standalone film, but would really like sequels for it. Speaking of sequels, I was also curious if after having enjoyed TF1 and being kind of interested in the Nightverse, if she would be interested in watching the upcoming G.I. Joe X Transformers movie. Which she replies, yes, but only because of the TF side. as she has zero interest in G.I. Joe. Hopefully the movie's good enough to interest her in the Joes too, but she doesn't think it's likely. I think this sentiment is shared across TF fans and outsiders, as you can see here, which still makes me wonder why they wanted the next movie to be a crossover. Just because it works in the comics really well, mind you, doesn't necessarily mean it will work in the live-action movies, but we'll see. This next one's more of a nerdy question, because I wanted to hear her thoughts on the whole continuity debates that we TF fans have to deal with, and Lawrence's whole disagreements with the directors on the timelines of the movies. With one saying that everything is part of the Bayverse, while everyone else insists that there's 2 or even 3 separate universe movies. So she found it really funny that everyone involved didn't seem to agree at all, but that she cares more about the director's statements or opinions than the producers. Though, if there's not many contradictions, it's cool if fans have their own headcanons, like connecting TF1 to Bumblebee movie or such. Now, the final question and kind of closing statement, I wanted to hear her overall thoughts on the state and future of the franchise, whether it was collabs, shows, or anything else. She mentions that she noticed a lot of collabs happening this year, especially on the gaming side, like Overwatch and Minecraft, and that it's a great thing that TF is so willing to collab with other games or franchises in general, like Star Wars collabs, and that she kind of wishes other franchises would be as open to this, like TF is right now, which kind of makes her hope that she'll get DC X Transformers collab one day. But regardless, she thinks the franchise is showing no signs of slowing down, and that she's interested in the future of the franchise. So, there you have it. Someone that wasn't a TF fan is now a Transformers fan, thanks to TF1. Now, I know that fan bases usually reach a point where it suddenly becomes an echo chamber, so it was really interesting to me to see an outsider's perspective on this whole thing. By the way, go follow her on Twitter. She hasn't really posted much recently, but if you like anything DC, go check her out. Really fun to talk with. And yeah, that's about it for now. Now, this next part is just going to be a quick channel update, so feel free to click off the video if you don't care about any of that. Just now, to let everyone know, I will be taking a bit of a break starting tomorrow. So, it's not really because I want to, I just won't be able to do anything for like a month, like until after Thanksgiving. So, it's not that I want to go on hiatus, I just have to. It's going to be a really long trip. I just won't have access to anything like this. So, no streams on Twitch, no YouTube videos, no nothing like that for a month, which really sucks. So, I apologize for the content rot, but I will be back as soon as I can after Thanksgiving. Immediately after that, I will try my best to stream and do all that stuff again. But anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the future.